Well, the European Union has announced plans to provide Greece and other member states with $760 million over the next 3 years. That's in emergency humanitarian aid to cope with the refugee crisis. Let's get more on this from Kevin Ozebek, who joins us now live from Brussels. Kevin, good to see you there. So how significant then is this emergency aid?
Well, it's extremely significant because this is the first time the European Commission is pushing for aid to be used on the continent. Now, the EU does spend quite a hefty amount on humanitarian aid, but that money up until this proposal would always go to third world countries in Africa and other places where the world is still developing. So this is huge because this is the first time the Commission wants to see money spent for humanitarian needs inside the EU. Now, most of this money, most of the 700 billion euros would likely go to Greece. You just ran through all the issues plaguing that country right now, and a lot of these issues stemming from the fact that Macedonia is being very selective with the refugees it's allowing to pass through. So it's believed that much of this money will head east to Eastern Europe. We did hear from the European Commissioner who is in charge of humanitarian aid. He ran through exactly what this money would be used for if, in fact, it is passed by the European Parliament and the EU member states. So let's listen to him to see exactly where he thinks this money should go.
This is to provide basic necessities, including food, emergency health care, shelter, clean water, etc., in close, as always, coordination with member states and by humanitarian organizations, our humanitarian partners on the ground, as always. It is in addition to the funding provided in host countries and in conflict areas.
Well, Kevin, there's also this emergency EU summit that is being held with Turkey. That's scheduled for Monday. Do we know what is likely to come from that summit?
Well, just a short time ago, Reuters released a report, and in this report, it cites some sources in Germany. And according to these Reuters sources, the goal of Germany at this summit will be to strike a deal with Turkey. This deal would be that if less than 1,000 refugees leave Turkey and enter the EU every day, the EU would then begin to relocate refugees directly from Turkey into the EU. Now, that's likely to be a very tough sell, and it doesn't seem like that would likely be looked upon very greatly for many of the EU countries, but we'll just have to wait and see exactly what happens at the summit on Monday. But regardless, definitely we are expecting headlines to be made on Monday because the refugee crisis is now front and center here in Brussels, and the EU is under immense pressure to try to come up with at least some solutions.
Okay, Kevin, thank you very much.